Okay, so typically I don't like to play with a whole lot of like the Universes Beyond cards, but sometimes there is a card that gets printed into these sets that I can't prevent myself from toying around with, at least just a little bit. So let me introduce you to a card you may or may not have seen. I don't see a whole lot of people playing this on ladder, but it's this card right here, Kitsune's Technique. I've not run into a single person playing this card, but I've been having way too much fun with this card. When I saw that we had access to an instant speed Traumatize effect, I had to build a deck around it. So this deck originally started as a mono blue deck with a bunch of like little flash creatures, so I could utilize the sneak and mill half my opponent's library on turn 2. And it worked okay for a little bit, but I really started hitting snags when, one, I realized how fragile the deck was, and 2, you tend to get run over pretty easily if you're playing mono blue. So I decided to add black to the deck, make it into a Dimir control shell, and this is what I ended up with, and the deck's been working really well for me. So let's go through the obvious parts. We have 3 Phantom Interference, 3 steps ahead. We're running Requiting Hex as a 3-0. We're running 3 copies of Consult the Star Charts. We're running 4 Riverchurn Monument. That's part of our kill combo right there. 3 Bitter Triumph for some removal. Firdoch Core as a 3-0 for a little bit of ramp. 3 copies of Deadly Cover-Up for some mass removal. There's the Kitsune Technique. 2 copies of Liliana, Dreadhorde General, and 4 copies of Unholy Annex. So, the way this deck works is you play it just like any other control deck. You counter the big spells you don't like to see, you get rid of the creatures that are on the board, so you can survive long enough to win the game, right? So, the combo is Kitsune's Technique, followed up by Riverchurn Monument. Pretty easy combo to follow here. End of your opponent's turn, if you have 6 mana available, and they didn't play anything that you need to deal with right now, you mill half their library, and then you untap with Riverchurn Monument on the table already, or, if you have the mana for it, play it and then exhaust in the same turn. Riverchurn Monument will then mill out however many cards are left in your opponent's library, based off of how many cards are in their graveyard already. So if you've milled half their library into their graveyard, that's usually going to be about 20 to 25 cards by the time you cast this on turn 6. Riverchurn Monument then activates, sees how many cards are in your opponent's graveyard versus their library, and they just boop, mills the rest of the entire deck into the graveyard, completely ending the game right there. It's a fantastic win condition, because this win condition does not require any creatures. So if you're playing against another control deck, they're not going to have anything to burn all of their removal spells on, so half their hand is going to be dead against you anyways. Now, another interesting, I won't say combo, but synergy that I noticed is with this card that came out of the new Lorwyn set, Firdoch Core. On its face, it's not very exciting, right? It's just a 3 mana rock that you can animate it into a 4/4 creature with Changeling if you want to. But here's the thing is, even though it's not a creature, it still has every creature type. Means that this is technically a demon, which is great for Unholy Annex. And the thing with Unholy Annex is a lot of times people will build with demon creatures in the deck, making it very easy to shut off the life gain from this card. When you're playing Firdoch Core, it's never a creature. So all of your opponent's removal spells have nothing to hit when the Firdoch Core is not animated. So you get the Firdoch Core out, get Unholy Annex out, you never have to activate the Ritual Chambers side if you don't want to, and you just stabilize the game by draining 2 life from your opponent every turn and drawing a card at the end of every turn. Meanwhile, you have counterspell mana up, you have removal spells available, you have draw to draw more spells if you need to. It's a very reactive playstyle, but once you get this combination out right here, that's a very stabilizing combo that you have right there. And if your opponent isn't already beating your face in by that time, you're setting yourself up pretty nicely, especially against all those mid-range control decks. So that's what the deck that we're playing with today. So we're going to take it out, play a few games with it, show you exactly how this deck operates, and then I will see you again at the end of this video for our little post-game wrap-up. So let's go play some games. Okay, I get to go first. We have 3 lands, a monument, the technique, and 2 removal spells. This could actually work. So let's keep it and see what happens. We go first. We're going to do Undercity Sewers first. So we have 1, get the Firdoch Core. I think we'll keep it. Get a little bit of ramp going. Okay, play Plains. Let's go Gloomlake into Monument. This must be the Ninja Turtles board. It's not the worst board I've ever seen. Giada, huh? Okay. Alright, well, we're going to Undercity Sewers again. Monument. Already have 1, don't need 2. Turn. So you want to swing with it first, and then use it for mana. Because it has that vigilance. Alright, well. You had your chance. Alright. So, Undercity Sewers will go, because the card comes into play tapped anyways. Yeah, pretty cool music on this board. Youthful Valkyrie, huh? Okay. Alright, end of turn. Mill you. Very nice. Good to see more lands, or threats going into the graveyard. I kind of have to keep that. Okay. Let's go here. We're going a little heavy into the ramps so that we can guarantee that we get Kitsune's Technique off next turn, and then follow that up with the Riverchurn. Okay. We'll activate it. Okay, so that does mess up our plan a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, take the hit. Alright, that land out there. And we're going to do this right now. Pay through life. Destroy that. Pay the 2 extra. Get my artifact back. And now we kind of have to just chill. We do have a counter spell in our hand, though, in case they try to do that again. Airbender Ascension. Airbend up to 1 target creature whenever a creature you control enters, put a quest counter at the beginning of your end step. If this enchantment has 4 or more quest counters on it, exile up to 1 target creature you control. Okay, so it's just a blinker. It's not that important. I can definitely see the Airbender working in this deck with Giada out on the board. That actually works pretty well. Yep, take that damage. Anything else? Warping it. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Oh, I see. You're gonna flip it back. Okay. Or at least try to. Alright, Zoop's on out. Let's go ahead and activate this while we can. That's 9 in the board. 9 in the graveyard, I mean. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 mana to play with this turn. So see what they do with their turn. If they don't do anything crazy, this is going to be their last turn. Exercise. Exile target artifact, enchantment. Alright. Well, gotta get rid of it. Because they are deathly afraid of me blowing their library. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost enough. Okay. Pass, pass. Alright, end of turn. Do it again. Ooh, got rid of another exercise. That's pretty good. Deadly cover up, huh? Okay. Well, wait. I'm not going to cover up just one creature. Another Giada. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Back of 2. You got it. Alright, end of turn. Lose that yard. Or lose that library. Now, my turn. We activate. And now you lose the rest. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. I love mill. Especially when you can do it at instant speed. It's so dumb. I can't believe they printed a card that allows me to mill half of your library at instant speed. It's so dumb. Oh my god. But it's fun. It is fun. So, we got the Restless Reef and the Island. We got a 3 steps ahead, Bitter Triumph, Deadly Cover Up, and the Annex. Let's see here. Audio. Bring the audio down just a little bit. It's sounding a little loud. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's see. We don't have anything to do turn 1, so let's drop the Restless Reef. Johnny's Pride Main. Okay, so this is a life gain deck. So let's go ahead and go with the Swamp right now. So we can have access to a kill spell this turn. Helpful Hunter, huh? Okay. Comes in. Draw a card. Plains, okay. Anything else? Alright, let's just do this. We'll pay the 3 life and just kill it. Okay. Let's go Island, and we're going to go Firdoch Core. So if they like go wild this turn and drop a bunch of creatures, we can definitely cover up. And if not, we can just drop an Unholy Annex. Alright, that would work for me. Okay, so let's go Watery Grave. Comes to play tapped. We can do Unholy Annex. And since we have the Firdoch Core, which counts as a demon, we gain 2 life instead of losing 2 life. Smile at Death. Okay. Hang on. Beginning of your upkeep, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures. Okay. That's actually going to be pretty difficult for me. So, let's see here. Let's go Undercity Sewers. Kitsune Technique, that stays right there. So let's also go Riverchurn Monument. And we pass the turn. So the game plan from here is we need 1 turn to set up. So, not this turn, but next turn, we're going to use Kitsune's Technique against them. And once we've nuked half of their library, well, let's counter that. Once we've nuked half their library, we can use the Riverchurn Monument to nuke the other half. Okay, so I'm gonna go Island. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total mana. We can't spend any mana this turn. We have to use Kitsune's Technique. I will do it at the end of their turn. So the wonderful thing about this card is because it's instant speed, I can just wait and play at the most opportune time. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, 15. Still very healthy because of the Unholy Annex. So, end of their turn. Let's hit them with the Kitsune Technique. Knock out half their library. Then on our turn, we get to activate the Exhaust ability, nuking the other half. And that's game. Didn't even have to use my Deadly Covered Up. GG. Yeah, you can get something back from the graveyard. No big deal. You have no library, though. Yeah, get him in. Gain some life. Yeah, absolutely. Get all your triggers going. It's all good. Resolve everything. Draw your card. Game over. Okay, so I get to go first. We have 2 lands: Consult, Riverchurn, Deadly Cover-Up, Liliana, and Unholy Annex. It's a little top-heavy, with not a whole lot of early interaction, so I think we're going to mulligan this. That's a lot better. Perfect. Alright, keep all that. Send one of the Restless to the bottom. And we'll play our other Restless Reef right now. Okay, Stomping Ground. Let's see here. Let's go Island. Pass turn. See what they play. You're missing out. No. I'll just counter rather than killing it. Right, Gloomlake. Yeah, let's get some card draw. Okay, that's good. Terra. Mill 5 cards, put up to 1 enchantment into your hand. Ooh, they whiffed. Not good. Need to save myself some health there, because I am stuck on land. Not a good feeling. Overlord. Okay. Get some land. There we go. There's a land. That's perfect. Draw another. There we go. Alright, we're getting there. We are unfortunately killing ourselves to get there, though. Yuna, huh? Alright. What's the ward cost? 2? Okay. We can pay it. Ooh. Alright, that's still pretty good. Oh, well, there's the land again. Actually, it's the same land, too. Alright. Okay, cool. They didn't do anything. So, end of their turn. We're gonna with kicker. Alright, get that Gloomlake Verge and that Firdoch Core. Alright, let's see here. Get the Firdoch Core out there. And don't. Well, actually, yes, we do have enough mana to play 3 steps ahead because of the Firdoch Core. Alright, now we can hopefully turn this around a little bit. Benra, huh? Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah, it's going to impend and become a creature. That's fine. So, I'm going to do this. We're going to draw 2. Because I really want to get to my, my monument. There it is. Alright, discarding one of these Kitsune Techniques. There it is. Boy, Annex. I like it. I'm going to keep it. Let's do this right now. With Deadly Cover-Up. We're going to go Kitsune's Technique for gathering evidence. Okay, cool. That nukes that. And we're going to get rid of Yuna, because that seems like the most important card in your deck. There we go. What's in your hand there? Bahamut, Knights of the Round. Okay, I can deal with that. Alright, draw a card. You lose 2 life, I gain 2. Alright, Knights of the Round. The boys are here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we need to not do anything this turn. And let's see here. So he's going to attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I can survive that. That's no big deal. Discard the Firdoch Core. Okay, so provided I survive this turn, and they don't like play something that gives all their creatures haste, I can win this game. They play Kitsune's Technique at end of their turn. Alright, let's see if it goes. I don't think they have any counter spells. There we go. Alright, my turn. Monument. Activate. GG. GG. Nice. Good game. And I draw a card, take 2 of your life, and that's game. That's game. Hell yeah. Nice, it worked. I've not seen a Uno Reanimator deck in a long time. Fun to see that deck still around. Okay, and we're back with our post-game wrap-up. And from what I can say about this deck so far is this is a really fun way to play Control. Typically when you're playing a Control deck, the games can tend to go on for a very, very long time, especially against other Control players, because you're fighting for board for such a long period of time. But with this deck, you can effectively end the game on turn 6 pretty consistently if you're playing against a slower deck. Because being able to pop off the Kitsune's Technique at the end of your opponent's turn, because it's instant, even without having to utilize the sneak effect, and being able to follow that up with Riverchurn Monument, even playing Riverchurn from hand and activating it the same turn, so they don't really have an opportunity to react, makes this a very potent kill against Control decks. Meanwhile, the more aggressive decks, they might get you before you get a chance to set up, because you're not running too much removal. Because of the fact that this is kind of a Control deck, you do have to run a little bit less removal, but running the combination of counter spells and spot removal spells does allow you to stick into the game for a pretty decent amount of time. Now, as far as like MVPs versus cards that I might want to change out, a surprising MVP for this deck is actually Liliana Dreadhorde General. Because of the fact that you're running a little bit of ramp with Firdoch Core, and you can stabilize pretty effectively with the Unholy Annex and drawing cards every turn, Liliana actually is a pretty decent top end for this deck. Like, her ability to not just draw you cards whenever your tokens die, and her -4 to make it so like both players sacrifice 2 creatures is actually fairly decent and works as a really good follow-up to Deadly Cover-Up. Because if you're controlling the flow of the game in the early game with Requiting Hex and Bitter Triumph, and then you can kind of reset the board with Deadly Cover-Up, Liliana coming in the turn after to help stabilize can really turn a game around very easily. So I really like Liliana in this build of the deck. But with most cases in this deck, she's not 100% necessary. There's a lot of games that I finished the game without ever seeing her. Hence why she's only a 2-drop, not like a 3 or 4-drop. But the real kill in the deck comes from the Riverchurn Monument and the Kitsune Technique. So that's kind of why we are running like more of those and less of, say, Liliana to help us finish the game out. The Unholy Annex actually does very good work at playing the alternate win condition, which is life draw. So, honestly, the way that this deck plays, I don't think I would change a whole lot about it, which would make building a sideboard a little bit difficult too, because you can go one of 2 ways with this deck. You can either build out the sideboard with other cards to help you shore up your win conditions against other decks, like bring in some hand disruption, extra counter spells, or extra removal against really fast decks. Or you could play what's called a transformational sideboard. You could throw a bunch of little like 1/1 flash creatures into your sideboard, board them in game 2 after your opponent has already boarded out all of their removal because they realize that their removal is useless against you. So you board all those creatures in, and then suddenly you can pop off a Kitsune's Technique by turn 2 with a sneak ability. Because you drop a flash flying 1/1 creature at the end of your opponent's first turn, and then you pop off with the Kitsune Technique on turn 2. Like, it is a lot of moving parts, but it can work. So, a transformational sideboard might not be too bad of an idea for a deck like this. I might have to play around with that for a little bit. But as far as, like, other cards you can probably move, Bitter Triumph, you could potentially swap this out for a different removal spell, maybe Shoot the Sheriff or something like that. Because a lot of the time, you aren't really coming up against other Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers are kind of taking a back seat these days to creatures. So, if you swap this out for a Shoot the Sheriff, that might actually be a little bit better, so you don't have to have that additional casting cost of pay through life or discard a card. But in most cases, I like this combination of Requiting Hex and Bitter Triumph, so that's why I'm going with these 2. Aside from that, counterspells are really solid. The draw is really solid between Unholy Annex and Consult the Star Charts. I really like the ramp with the Firdoch Core and the Unholy Annex to help you draw more cards and replenish your hand. So it's a pretty solid deck, and I really like the way it's working. I'm going to play with it a little bit more over the next week or so and decide whether or not I want to build this in paper. But as it is right now, the way that this deck has been performing, I might end up building this in paper, because this is actually a really fun control deck. So, anyways, that's what I got to say about this. I'll stop rambling for now. So, if you want to try this out yourself, check out the description box down below. I'll have the deck list down there. And until next time, take care of yourselves.